Okay, let's get started. Thank you all for attending today. My name's Shane Butt. I'll be your host for today. So we're going to look at how you can easily create your project status report using Pims. You can do it with the click of a button instead of all the hassle of chasing people for updated reports and information. So let's get started. We're using GoToWebinar. At any time you can ask us a question. Just type it in that text box you see there where it says enter a question for staff, and we've got one of our panelists and experts in the background. He'll be monitoring those questions and answering those as best he can with the time available and the volume of questions we come in. So please feel free to add any question in there, and if we can't answer it during today, we will do so afterwards, and we'll post all of the questions and answers with the recording at the end. So our agenda for today, I'm going to briefly introduce the team from Omega that's presenting the webinar. I'll give you some quick background on the company, who we are, what we do. We'll have a live demo, and that will be the bulk of today's webinar. We will in fact produce multiple monthly status reports. We'll then recap on the Q&A, and we'll talk about what's coming up in the near future with Omega events. So our team today, I'm Shane Butt, I'm your host. I'm the Vice President for Enterprise Systems at Omega. With me is Arvid Marcus. He's going to be our demonstrator today. He's a department manager at Omega and an implementation expert with Pims Cost. He's implemented it for multiple clients and supported them, and he knows it inside out. Nathan Lalonde is another department manager, will be in the background. He'll be answering the questions as they come in, and he will join us towards the end to recap. We've all been with Omega for over 12 years, so we've all got a tremendous amount of experience. Nathan has also implemented Pims Cost for clients. All right, let's get to some background on the company, and I'll be brief. For the last 25 years, Omega has been helping companies deliver capital projects more effectively through our two key business streams: by providing professional consultants to help projects with additional manpower, additional expertise and experience, and implementing our software solutions, Pims, to help with key business processes within those projects. Our heritage was based around the oil and gas industry and helping those companies execute their projects more effectively. Over time, we've expanded into other industries. We're a global company with offices around the world. We have multiple offices in Norway, Canada, Australia, and offices in Singapore, Denmark, Sweden, Lithuania, the UK, and of course the US. Our US office is right here in Houston, and that's where we're presenting today's webinar. That picture you see on the right-hand side there is in fact our headquarters in the town of Ellensburg on a typically beautiful Norwegian fjord. The majority of our offices are full-service offices, meaning they provide both consulting expertise and the full range of our software services. So for Pims, that includes sales, implementation, configuration, training and support. We have around 150 Pims specialists around the world to help implement and support our Pims solutions and clients. As I said, we've been operating for 25 years. In that time, we've been developing our Pims product range. It's expanded in terms of the number of products. The breadth of functionality within those products has increased, and the underlying technology and infrastructure has improved dramatically over that time. All of our software products have been developed with significant input from our vast client base. This collaborative development with our clients is one of the keys to our product development and our success. We take that collaboration very seriously. In many cases, we have our Pims systems engineers work directly with the project teams as members of those teams on site. This enables our software to be configured to adapt to the changing needs of the company immediately. It also enables our Pims engineers to get a better understanding of the business, which makes them more valuable to the client, more valuable to Amiga, and in their own career. Now, when people ask me what is special about Pims, my response is simple. We do whatever is needed to make our software your software. Now, today's focus is obviously on cost management and showing how simple it is to create your monthly project status reports. Pims Cost Management was one of the very first Pims products and is one of our most mature and widely used products. It's been used on major projects all over the world. The functionality developed over time to handle the production of the monthly project status reports is one of the key features that our clients love. So let's get started. This is just a quick recap from the webinar invitation you would have received. Arvid is going to be covering these points during his demonstration today. At the end, you will see just how easy it is to bring all your key project information from Pims into your monthly status report at the click of a button. And that'll include things like cost curves, progress curves, changes, etc. So just setting the scene for today's demonstration. We're building an FPSO and our project team is based in Canada. Therefore, our project currency is Canadian dollars and the monthly report will be based on Canadian dollars as well. I am the project manager and Arvid is my senior cost engineer and produces the monthly report for me. As a quick sideline, I attended a presentation earlier this week at the AACE Gulf Coast section. The guest speaker was from Shell and he had a military background. His presentation was comparing military war rooms with project war rooms, a strategy that some companies use today. One of the key points I took away related to the chain of command and flow of information in the military war room scenario, where the battle captain received all the information, logged all the information and decided what was critical for the commander to know in order to make the best decision. So bringing that concept into projects and project controls, Arvid is my battle captain and provides me with all the information I need to make the best decision. So for our demo, we're pretending that today is June the 4th, 2016, and it's time to produce the monthly report for May. I know that the May financials have been closed off in SAP, including the actuals and commitments. Now we know that the task of producing the monthly report is very time-consuming and very resource-consuming for most companies and most projects. Typically this can consume up to half of a dedicated project resource, as they have to reach out to multiple people, collect information from different sources, chase up those people and remind them to deliver the information, and then bring all the information together with the formatting challenges. Our clients have told us that Pims fixes this, and we're going to prove that again today. So Arvid, show me how Pims enables you to produce the monthly report at the click of a button for my review, please.
Thank you, Shane. So let me go out of this presentation and jump into Pims. So I'll start here in my monthly status reporting workflow. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my current cutoff up till May. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and as soon as I say OK, all of my April cost and progress figures are now automatically saved and archived for historical reporting purposes. You might notice that I have a monthly last Sunday as my cutoff. Pims will support any type of cutoff. It can be a weekly Sunday, it can be a monthly last day, and so on. Okay, so the next step is to import your actuals and your progress, as well as doing your forecast analysis and so on. We have a guided step-by-step for you here that gives you the shortcuts for doing that. But in this scenario, we can take the assumption that those are completed. So I'm going to go in and start preparing my status report. Now clicking this button will open my status report form. When you're in here, you will see all my historical monthly reports listed on the right hand side, so they are available for me to go back and look at. On my left hand side is my template of the different sections that I have in my reports. So let's go ahead and create the June report. So I'm going to go create new. I'm going to choose my monthly report, and I'm going to use my monthly report from April as my template by saying OK. This May monthly report is now already established within Pims. You see my cutoff is 29th of May. You see it is open for editing, and you also notice that the status of the report is in draft mode. So if we start looking at the different sections that we have within this report, I'll start with the front page. On the front page, I have Shane as my project manager. I have a set of other key project resources listed, as well as an image of the end result of this project, the Boulder FPSO. If I go in here now and do a preview section, I'll review this front page and see the contents in there, and all look good. So let's go to next section 2, which is my table of contents. The table of content is maintained automatically by the system, so there's nothing in here I need to do. The page number will be updated automatically, as well as the sections. So let's move down to the overall summary. The first thing you see here is we have 4 boxes with narrative summary that we can add in. We have the overall summary, we have the HSE information, quality and risk management, as well as authority relationship. The text from previous month is automatically copied over, so you can go in here now and edit it directly, or you can simply copy and paste it in from an email or other sources that you receive it from. In this case, we're just going to go in and quickly update and say that there was no spills in May, to keep it simple. If I go to the next tab over, you'll see I have my main events for this period as well as the next period, and you can also include major risk and actions in here. Now if I go ahead and preview this section, you'll see that the monthly reports, section 3, overall summary, it comes in with a narrative text. We have the HSE information, the quality and risk information. You see here we have the no spills in May has been updated, our authority relationship, as well as the main event for this and the next period. Combined with the narrative text, you have the graphical representation of your cost curve with your planned and actual. We have our current status in tabular format with the progress, as well as the cost figure. You see these values are in million Canadian dollars. And then we have our control estimate with our original estimates, as well as our forecast and deviation. You also notice here that we have the draft watermark on it to emphasize that this report is still in draft mode. If you go to the next section, the overall cost status, if you take a look here in the middle of the screen, you see the section type. In this example, I have the section type report. That means that any of my more than 100 reports that comes with Pims out of the box can be used within the monthly reports. So I will take a look at this. So this I've set up for the demo purposes. I'll go ahead and preview this section. And what you see here is the overall cost in Canadian dollars. I have on the left, I have my WBS structure. You see my Boulder FPSO project as the overall project. I have my owner's cost and the items beneath that, as well as my FPSO and my level 3 summaries beneath that. On the bottom I have my Forex. This report is showing my approved funding, the master control estimates, all approved changes, my current control estimates. Then I have the pending and potential changes. I have my current forecast. I have my forecast versus my funding. I have my periodic forecast change, which is showing how much the forecast has changed this month. I have the committed value for my contract register, and as well as my cumulative actual costs. So this gives the view of the overall cost to the projects. If I go to the next subsection here, you see I have the cost status for owner's costs. So if I go into this one, you see I again have the section type, the reports, but now I have chosen a different report, and I have applied a filter where I say that my WBS starts with A01, which is the filter for the owner cost. So if I go ahead and preview this section, you're going to see a more detailed report of the owner's cost broken down into the lowest level of my WBS. So you have here the cost for this period, both my planned, earned and actual. I have my cost for my cumulative cost, the planned, earned, actual and committed, as well as my at completion estimate and forecast. You see right here that my estimate is 32 million, whereas my forecast is up to 62 million Canadians. Now if I go to my next section where I have the FPSO, you will see that I have the same reports but used a different WBS filter. Now I'm filtering on A02, which is my FPSO cost. So if I go in here and preview this section, you will see I have the same information but now for the FPSO and all the packages that is beneath that. I have my planned, earned and actual for this period, as well as my planned and actual percent for this period, the cumulative values with my planned, earned, actual and committed, as well as my cumulative planned percent and cumulative actual percent, and of course my at completion. And you might notice here that the FPSO is actually lower forecast cost than the estimate. So these sections can also be narrative text, where you have a whole page of only text. It can be embedded files, attachments where you upload other reports and get them combined into your report and so forth. So let me go ahead now and do the actual generation of the full report. By clicking Generate Report, you will see that Pims is running through the different sections and sewing them together to one consolidated PDF file. It runs through, it gives my head loss, my project risks, and then it will open this combined PDF file. And I have the report at this time 18 pages at the click of my fingers. I can go past here, you see the table of contents. You'll see it with the overall summary, the cost status and so forth, the different sections and the page numbers. You see the overall summary that we looked at earlier with the narrative text and the graphical representation of the costs. Keep going down to the cost status, the detailed cost status. We have here commitment status coming from the contract register, so we have our contracts, we have the original values, any adjustments made to them brings up the total commitment as well as the contract forecast. We have the cost curves with our planned, actual and earned value as well as the commitment and forecast and estimate. I have the progress curve, and again all of these values are coming directly from Pims. So there's nothing I have to go in and do or create. Everything is generated for free by the system. I have my high-level schedule information. So these are taking the dates from Primavera and adding to my work packages and creating high-level Gantt charts within Pims. Of course, we could also use the Primavera schedule directly inside of ours. We have a change report showing the different changes by status: approved, issued, pending, recommended. We have them grouped on different WBS. And we have both the schedule impact and the cost impact for these changes. I have a contingency drawdown curve where I'm listing both my planned and my actual contingency drawdown. I have a staffing plan, again coming from Pims, where you have all your project staffing listing on the different OBS, their start and finish dates, as well as their employment percentage. Manpower histogram giving you the FTE for the project. And then we have the construction pictures. Now everybody knows that there is nothing that makes people read the monthly report as good as when there are some actual pictures of the construction sites in here. So we have our own sections where you can upload images, you can apply narrative text to them as well, and have them directly in the reports. We have the risk matrix showing you both the threats and the opportunities on the top 10 risks. And lastly, I have the project milestones for 2016 coming from the milestone register within Pims. So by doing that, I will now go ahead and send this one to Shane for his approval and review. And there you go, Shane. The monthly report has been generated with a click of one button and emailed to you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Arvid. You made that look too easy. But then again, that's the point of our webinar today. Let me challenge you some more. Because our head office is based in the US, I also need to produce an executive summary for them. So I don't want it to be as detailed as the monthly report you just showed. I expect less sections, but I also want to see it in US dollars. So that's your next challenge.
Thank you, Shane. I'll take that challenge. And so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to go ahead and remove my filter for the report type monthly report. And what you'll see here is that I have two other. I have the corporate executive report and my JV report. So let's start with the corporate executive report. I already created that from my previous month, but I keep it in an open draft mode. What you can notice here is that my table of content is much shorter. I have a front page, table of contents, summary, risk, cost status, and changes. Those are the only sections that I'm interested in having in this report. So let me go ahead and generate this report. Actually, let me close out the previous one and let the system open the next. So here again we have the Boulder Development Project, the Corporate Executive Summary Report for 29th of May. I go to the table of contents, it's short and sweet. The summary report here it's the same information within a different layout. So this is just another example of how you can present the numbers within Pims. I have a summary section of my text. Again, I have the main event, this and next period, as well as areas of concern and corrective actions. On my right hand side, I have the planned, actual and earned cost of the project, as well as the progress. Now you'll note when I go down to the cost status that this is a more of a management report. Let me go ahead and zoom this back in. And this is showing the cumulative values up until current cutoff. But you also notice that they're showing the cumulative values in USD. So Pims will automatically use the exchange rates and transfer the numbers from Canadian dollars into American dollars. So again, I don't have to do any extra clicks or any extra works in order to produce a monthly report in USD. Pims is doing this for me automatically. You'll see my owner's cost up until today's date is 9.6 millions unplanned. My earned is 7 millions, the same as my actual. The FPSO again is I have a planned value of 32 millions, an earned value of 23, and an actual cost of almost 24. There's actually a variance of 133,000, as well as my project total. Keep going down. Again, I list my changes. So again, I want to have the change report in my executive summary, and all the changes with their schedule and cost impact is listed. So here you go, Shane. Here is the report number 2, the executive report, again with a click of a button.
Excellent. Thanks, Arvid. I'm beginning to see why this monthly report tool in Pims is so valuable to our clients. But I've got one final challenge for you. Like many projects, there's another company involved in our project, so I need to produce a monthly report for the joint venture partners. However, the risk team is placing greater emphasis this month on opportunities, and hence it's going to take them a bit longer than usual before they're comfortable having their updates published. Therefore, I want you to exclude the risk section from the joint venture report for this month. So that's your final challenge.
Okay, so as you know by now, I can handle that pretty easy too. So let me go down to my joint venture reports. So here again you'll see a bigger section of table of contents. It's very similar to the monthly reports. I'm going to go straight down to my risk section that you want to exclude for this month. Now you see here I'm using the report, I'm using the risk report directly from Pims, I'm using the filter top 10. But I can simply say exclude from report checkbox, and this will now not come up, neither on the table of contents or in the report itself. If we go to the cost status tab, you'll see that I've used a report named alternative cost structure, and I'm using this cost structure, what I call my JV structure. So let me go ahead and generate this report. So again, it's going to sew all these pages together to one consolidated PDF file and open that for me. And what you will notice here now, let me start on the table of contents, where you see that the risk has been excluded. And then I'm going to scroll down to cost status. So this is where you really see the difference from previous reports. In here now, I'm only taking a subsection of the project. So you see my total estimate for the project is 484 millions. My forecast is 485. And I have an alternative structure. So this is where I'm using my joint venture structure. So what I'm trying to show here is that you can set up multiple reporting structures within Pims, and then Pims will create all of these reports for you, again for free. There's nothing you have to do as the cost engineer. The rest of the page is again the commitment status. Cost curves are again going on the alternative structure. The schedule will be much the same. The cost and schedule performance, I'm not sure if I touched base on this earlier, but we are tracking both the periodic and cumulative cost performance index as well as the schedule performance index in Pims. So here you see that we are having a rather poor cost, schedule performance index. The cost performance index is just beneath 1 in May, and it average cumulative close to 1 for this area. The other reports changed as we've seen before: contingency drawdown, staffing plan, histograms, construction pictures, and project milestones. So now that I've generated this one, I'm going to go ahead and email this to Shane as well, so that you have the JV report for you to review.
Great. Thank you, Art. That's how we generate the monthly report in Pims. It's that easy that we can produce multiple different monthly reports without hesitation. As Arvid has shown you, these reports can have different sections. They can have different reports included with them. They can use different currencies and even different or alternative reporting structures, as Arvid used in the joint venture scenario. Our clients and projects have been using this tool for years and loving it. Everyone should be producing their monthly reports this way. Now, to wrap up what I need from Arvid, I've reviewed the draft monthly report that he sent me earlier, and I'm happy with it. Can you please finalize that report, distribute it to the project team, and publish the updates to our project website or dashboard?
Absolutely, Shane. So I'm going to go into the JV report first. I'm going to change the status to final. I'm going to go ahead and lock it for editing, and then I'm just going to show you how easily I can just distribute that directly from Pims. I choose Send Reports, and that will, open my email, and I can simply send it directly from here. And the distribution list is what I have listed in Pims. The same thing I'm going to do with my monthly reports. I'm going to set this to final, lock it down, as well as the JV report and the executive report. Here you go. And then let me go ahead and send this one out as well. So now these reports has been distributed, but we also want to go ahead and update our web dashboard pages with all these updated numbers. So I'm going to come back to my monthly status reporting. So this is now completed, so I'm going to complete that, and then I'm going to go ahead and approve my status report. So once I approve this status report, my dashboard pages will now be updated with the latest information. So let me go into the browser. So here is the web portal for Pims and our products. So I'm going to go into the Cost Management section. And these dashboard pages I'm looking at now, I'm looking at them through my browser, which means that I can look at them from my iPhone, from my iPad, as well as my other Samsung products and regular computers. Let me go ahead and remove a little bit of information here and actually just explain to you what you're looking at. You are seeing the Boiler project as we have been working on, as from the project start to the project finish. The cost here, we have our planned cost and progress, we have our actual costs, committed costs, as well as our funding and estimates. On the top of the page, we have the WBS Navigator. And I'm going to go into my basic engineering element and illustrate what we're looking at. So first, let me take some of these curves away. And being on the browser tab enabled, of course, you can zoom in if you need to, or zoom out to make it fit your screen, or if you have a presentation and you want to go into some details of any of the numbers. You can also at any time go ahead and open it in an image or take it out to a PDF document if you need to send this report out. So here I'm looking at in my May period, I had a planned cost on 6 million for my basic engineering, and my actual cost is 5.6. So I'm falling a little bit behind on the actual cost. That could be a good indicator. But let's look at the planned progress and the actual progress. And you'll see here that I am actually also 4% behind on my progress. So though I'm lower on my costs, my progress is also representing the same thing. If I go over to the next tab, I have my performance. In here, I'm looking at my scheduled performance index and my cost performance index periodically, as well as cumulative. Now you see I have a big spike here in April, and what these pages enables you to do is you can add a comment in here. And I might want to add a comment that the spike is valid and has been confirmed. There might be some other reason to it, then we can have that in here. But when I put that comment on, So when your project team or your managers are going into these dashboard pages and look at them, instead of picking up that phone and always call the cost engineer, you can now actually just publish your comments directly to the WBS element that you are, and they can see the reasoning behind the numbers. These comments you can do to the cost curve, or you can do to any of these tabs that we have here. Let me go back up to my FPSO level and then go over to the cost status. The cost status is showing you the cumulative values as the current reporting date. I have here on the left hand side my WBS navigator, so I can drill farther down into the lowest level of detail if I want to do so. I have my approved funding, I have my master control estimate or my original budget if you want. I have all the approved changes, which brings me up to the current control estimate. Now if I want to go ahead and look at what's behind these changes, I can just click this hyperlink and it will list all the different changes with their values. I can again go into the change directly and look at what's behind it. Let me go back. The same thing is for my pending changes. I can get a list of my pending changes and I can go into that change register itself. And if it's pending my action, I can go in and approve it directly. The forecast adjustment is any adjustments that is done typically based on productivity factors and so forth. And along with the pending changes, that gives you the current forecast. The periodic forecast change illustrates the changes in your current forecast from previous period. So here you see that my forecast has gone down 5 million from the April reporting date. My forecast versus approved funding shows me the difference of how much funding I have over my forecast, and you can see I still are within my funding margins. The committed to days from your contracts and PO register, as well as your actual value of work done. Now you notice here that I'm talking about the current cutoff. At any time I can drill back in time to look at the previous period of reporting numbers. So all history is maintained within Pims. If we keep going over, I have the contingency drawdown, and this will show you both the planned contingency drawdown as well as the actual contingency drawdown, and also you'll see what work packages the actual contingency have been used on. So you have the full track of the history within Pims. Your commitment status will show the contracts, the original contracts tied to this WBS, the approved variation, your pending variation, as well as your option not executed, and your forecast. And of course, these abbreviation or naming can be configured to the standards that you are using. The last tab over is our reports, where we have a set of published reports that you can open and download directly. So Shane, now I have produced monthly reports for you. I have updated our cost dashboard pages, and I believe I have answered all your questions.
You've done a great job. Yes, thank you, Arvid. I can't help but reflect on the war room analogy I heard about earlier this week. Arvid is my battle captain. He's receiving all of the information from a variety of sources, but they're all kept within Pims. So by default, it's automatically logged. We have the schedule updates coming directly from Primavera into Pims on a regular schedule. We have the financials in terms of actuals and commitments coming from SAP, Oracle, whatever ERP system you might be using into Pims. We've got the earned value calculations being managed in Pims, and in fact during the basic engineering phases we can bring that directly in from our Pims document control product straight into Pims Cost. The risk information is being managed in Pims and always available and up to date, apart from the scenario we have today where they're spending some extra time reviewing and focusing on opportunities. So Pims is your main information source, puts everything at your fingertips in order for you as my battle captain and senior cost engineer to easily communicate the essential information to me. And of course I can access the project dashboard at any time, as can any member of our project team, and be kept informed and up to date. Now everyone who has attended the webinar today can see how this can deliver the following benefits. We've reduced the time required to produce the report. In many cases this takes days to weeks. We've done it at the click of a button. We've reduced the effort and frustration associated with that. We have controlled the reports so that they're consistent and they're professionally formatted. You know, keeping track of the table of contents isn't a hassle when you're bringing in information from different sources. Pims is handling that for you. And each report or type of report you create can be used as a template for future months and future projects. So, I wanted to take this opportunity to remind everybody we had a webinar earlier this year that also focused on cost management. During that webinar, we concentrated on the challenge of how to enable your cost engineers to spend more of their time doing what you really want them to do and what they really want to be doing as well. They typically don't want to spend all day collecting, entering, and inputting data into a system. We showed how Pims Cost was perfect for the cost engineers and how they're able to input and upload information quickly and efficiently, thereby enabling them to spend more time analyzing the project information and status, and enabling them to spend more time to produce more accurate forecasts. If you would like to replay that webinar, just go to omega.no/US/Houston webinars and scroll down until you find the picture you see there. Then click on the webinar recording link and it will replay that for you. So now it's time to bring Nathan in, and he's going to recap some of the key questions we received today. So he's just joining us now. He's been busy in the background answering all the questions. So welcome, Nathan. Thank you for joining us and monitoring the questions in the background. Please share with the audience the key ones that you were able to handle.
Okay, Shane. So a few questions came in, mostly just on configuration and the ability to configure the different templates and reports and things of that nature. So the questions are, can we configure our own reports to be included in the monthly report? The answer to that is yes, you can create your own monthly reports yourself, or Omega can help you as well in doing that. If you have need, we can always step in and help out there. Couple other questions. Is there a limit to alternative structures on which you can report in this monthly report? The answer to that is no. No limits to it. If you want to set up as many alternative reporting structures as you want on your WBS, and then you can integrate that in on your monthly report. Another question on, can we configure labels of the reports and put things into your own language? So if our reporting doesn't quite match up with the wording that you use, I guess is what this one's being asked. The answer to that is yes, you can configure the labels being used in the system. So Pims can effectively be updated or configured to use the language that you use within your corporation. And then, do you need to use Pims Cost to use the monthly report? The answer for that is no. The monthly report will work on any reports within Pims. So regardless of what Pims tools you are using, you can bring those reports from those tools into the monthly report application there. So if you're using our completion system or our document control system, you can bring those reports into that monthly report very easily. Another question, how is Pims provided? Is it something you install locally or is it hosted? The answer is either. You can have a local installation on your own servers, or you can have us host the solution for you in the cloud. We use Microsoft Azure to do this, and Azure has data centers around the world, so if you're interested in us hosting the software for you, that is definitely something that we can do. And that seems to be it for the questions.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Nathan, for fielding those in the background and sharing them with us. And as I alluded to at the beginning, we will publish this recorded webinar and the Q&A topics to our website in the next few days. So, just looking ahead at what's coming up in terms of Omega events, we're going to hold an information session at our offices in Houston later this month on November 29, giving a high-level overview of our Pims product range. Seating is limited, but contact me if you're interested in attending. In this session, we'll cover an overview, obviously in more depth than we did today, of Omega, and demonstrate some of our key Pims products, including Pims Team Collaboration, Pims Completion Management, Pims Interface Management, Pims Cost, Pims Experience and Benchmarking, and Pims Document Control. So as I said, if you're interested in attending, just let me know. You'll see my email coming up in a few minutes. Our webinar next month will revolve around health and safety, SEMS, and BESI compliance. And we know that this is a critical topic for all of us. Recapping some of our more recent events, we had a quarterly mixer on November 1st in the Woodlands, and that was a great success. We had a very successful breakfast seminar on November 4, and Nathan, who you just heard covering our Q&A session, ran a great presentation at the AACE Gulf Coast Symposium on Saturday, November 5. This was held at the Kiewit offices in the Woodlands. There was over 100 people in attendance, and his presentation focused on the value that can be gained from integrating your completion system and process with other project control systems, and how this can benefit cost engineers, among other people. It was very well received, and if you'd like more information on that presentation, please contact me as well. You can also see a list of some of the previous webinars. There's the link to click on if you would like to go and revisit, recap, or replay any of those from earlier this year. So, in wrapping up, I want to thank you for attending today. I want to thank my colleagues Nathan and Arvid for all of their time and input. Keep visiting our website. Thank you for the questions. Our website is www.omega.no/US, and there you'll see all the latest news, upcoming events. You won't miss out on a thing. Finally, we'd be grateful if you'd complete the survey at the end of this webinar, as it gives us useful feedback and helps us deliver better content and quality in the future. So that's us signing off. Thank you again. Bye.